So, okay. Are we live? All right. So we are officially live. Welcome from the White House to this event, this special event at this International Youth Day. And this event is hosted by DevScript and several other partner organizations. Feel free to join, subscribe, and the links will be sent in the chat. So a little bit about myself, because you guys are probably wondering who's this guy. I am not actually at the White House. This is just a cool Zoom effect, and that's actually the cat they have there. I'm not sure if that's true, but this is a cool image I've found online. If you guys can see my screen, I hope you can. If you can, it means I'm doing the things right. And if you cannot, please let me know somehow. So I named this presentation. It's actually a longer name, but it wouldn't fit so well on the screen. So basically, I'll talk about some things that I wish I knew beforehand about life in general, and especially about the dichotomy, personal versus professional life, which is always a challenging topic. And this is, as I said there, this is a true proof that I am getting older. I am almost 36 now. And my name is Ricardo, by the way, Ricardo Prince. I am from Brazil. I live in the US. I am a software engineer, and I'm also a beta Microsoft Learn student ambassador. I have to read the new name now. I'm also the DSC lead in my campus and a whole bunch of other stuff. I've been doing coding for quite some time now, but I'll try to refrain from talking about technical stuff, because you guys are probably tired and you guys always keep looking for more and more and more technical stuff. And I will try to not make that the focus of presentation. Oh, I am also one of the co-founders of Tesseract Coding, which is a community that is dedicated to promote knowledge for free. Okay, so I like this picture. It's from Escher. Some of you might have seen it. Some of you might not have seen it. And this is, yeah, it's 53. He drew that series of impossible images. And I think he had colleges in mind when he drew that. No, not really. He didn't have colleges on his mind. But if you look at these people there, I think they fit into the definition of a college student. College students are fun because they think they are always on the right path, and they mostly believe that they're doing the right thing all the time, except when they have the imposter syndrome, but that usually happens during graduate school, which is also the topic for another presentation, and I hope I get there someday, if I don't die before, because as I said before, I am getting older now. Anyway, so it's interesting if we look back at the origin of the university, and this is something that happened a really, 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 really long time ago, and the very origin, and if you think about the word, the root of the word universe and university, they have a lot in common, and it dates back to the period where people would convey once a year at a place to learn more about the universe in general. And it's something that in several cultures this happens, and usually they would sit together and they would see a representation about how the universe came to be. And in the Babylonian culture, the king would also be like the main person in charge of making things happen and so on. And anyway, this is a common story in many cultures, but I'm not going to talk about history in general here. But anyway, so the origin of the university is closely related to a place in which we would be taught things about the universe in general. And here's the thing. In the last 2 centuries or so, we've been increasing the amount of knowledge we have about the universe in general, especially in the last 50 years, and even more in the last 10 years. If you think about it, the rate of knowledge we're gaining is increasingly bigger, if I can say so. And sadly, in college, the curriculum is also increasing, which means things are getting harder and harder. I actually looked this number. I'm not sure if it's right because I found it on Yahoo Answers, but in India alone, the number of new engineers, it's 1.5 million per year, which means you guys, because I'm in the US and the numbers here are quite smaller actually. But you guys have 1.5 million friends who know more about the universe, the engineering universe, apparently, each year. And do we really have to learn everything there is about the universe? So this is one of the things I'm going to talk about today. Looking at this Azure picture, it also talks about social media, maybe. No, not really. I don't think they had social media in the 50s. But yeah, it can be interpreted that way. It's not real, you know? Social media is not real. All these guys you follow on Twitter, they don't do 1 hour of code every day for 100 days. Sometimes people fail. Sometimes people do 20 minutes. Sometimes people don't do at all, and they just tweet about it because it's cool to put a hashtag. So people are not perfect, and we're not perfect. It's okay to make mistakes, all right? So yeah, don't fall into the trap of the social media perfection. Anyway, drawing from these 2 images, like the huge amount of knowledge that we have ahead of us, that we had to learn in order to get a bigger GPA, and also the awkwardness of social media, I am going to try to talk about 2 things. The first one will be theory versus practice, college versus professional life, real versus fake, and some lessons to be learned from it. The second one, how to learn, metacognition here, and also how to choose what to learn between all the things that there are in the universe. And trust me, there are a lot of things out there. And although our intellect always longs for clarity and certainty, our human nature often finds uncertainty fascinating. And this is why you get confused most of the times. Anyway, thinking about the challenges of personal versus technical. It's funny looking back, because now I'm old and I can look back and it's actually cool. Especially when you realize that all the mess ups, the mistakes I did in the past were not that big as I thought they were in the past. I remember, don't worry, these are just my cats playing, okay? Stop that. Anyway, yeah, I have 3 cats and they're awesome. I also have a kid, which is even awesomer. Anyway, what was I talking about again? Oh, I remember now. So yeah, I finished high school at the age of 15. And as you may probably know now, I hope you do actually, when you're 15, you think you know a lot about life, but you actually don't know anything. And to make matters worse for me, I was a really, really, really shy kid. I don't think I had any friends at that time. I was just a math geek, a nerd, if you call it that way. And it was not cool to be a nerd when I was a teenager. It was actually really bad, which added to the fact that I didn't have any friends. And anyway, life was hard. But I was actually involved in work since I was 13, actually, because of some weird internship programs I was part of back in school. But anyway, when I was 15, I was actually starting to work, to actually work. And I found out that I actually needed to talk to people, which was hard because, I mean, who are these people? And they don't like math and they don't know how to code. And I mean, do I really need to talk to them? But anyway, I had to make my first presentation. And I have failed miserably. I almost peed my pants, actually. Or did I do that? I don't remember now. Anyway, and then I was faced with the fact that I needed to learn other things that I didn't actually see in school. Anyway, life went on, and in college, I went there as well, and I still didn't learn these things. And this is mainly my first topic of discussion here, is that there are some skills that we need to learn in order to excel in our professional lives. And we're not going to be taught these skills. Yep. And we are not going to get them from reading self-help books or blog posts as well. And to make matters even worse, we are going to have to learn them from trial and error, and mostly error, a lot of errors. 1995, if I am not mistaken. You guys can check that on Google if I am wrong. Anyway, this guy named Daniel Goleman, he published a book, a very famous book, which was called Emotional Intelligence. And it was a revolution. Everyone started talking about emotional intelligence and how it was important, how it was more important than IQ and stuff like that. And a lot of tests came on. But anyway, amidst all these confusion about this new terminology, which was actually not that new. Some other guy had already talked about that before, but Daniel Goleman was Harvard material and he got famous. Anyway, there were actually some important points to be learned. So, for example, how do I become a better leader? Or how do I make better presentations without almost peeing my pants? Or how do I talk to that girl? No, yeah, that's another discussion, but it's related anyway. So, do I learn these things the same way I learn math or coding? In trying to answer that question, I am going to also mention that soft skills are today more important than hard skills. Not that hard skills are not important. They are. Actually, they are very important. But soft skills are what going to set you aside. Remember, I said 1.5 million new engineers. They all have very high IQ, and they all have a very broad knowledge. A lot of Coursera certificates. They have all watched Andrew Ng's machine learning course. They have all watched the Harvard CS50, but do they all know how to be creative? So this is the challenge. Anyway, dig into that. Soft skills. I can't possibly fathom to make a comprehensive list of all skills, but I'm going to mention 3 that were listed in a research poll I've made last year. As in here in the US, the top 3 skills that college students were lacking when they finished CS or IT courses. First one was critical thinking. The second one was teamwork. And the third was creative thinking. And I made this poll of 76 HR professionals, recruiters from all companies. And they all said that although most students had a very competent curriculum, they all had like many, anyway, they knew how to code. They knew a lot of stuff, but most of the times when they were hired, they presented some challenges. And we don't want challenges, right? I mean, we can't avoid them, I think. So bullet point number 2, which I kind of started already. Developers need to develop other skills than developing. And how do you do that? I don't know. If you guys want to write a book about it, this is something that I want to do. I actually intend to present a project next year on Wolfram School about the relationship between soft and hard skills and using coding to learn soft skills. Anyway, I just wanted to, with this whole talk, give some perspective on that. It is more important to know how to lead than to know how to do stuff. Especially if you think career-wise, if you want to progress, you need to learn how to actually and effectively conduct a team. So yeah, I'll just move on to the bullet point number 3, which is a story time. The General Stab was a famous Prussian and afterwards German school of war, school of leaders mostly, and it was famous because we all know how Germans excelled at war making, and even Prussians for a long time. And you have some very famous names, Moltke and Clausewitz and some other historical names of generals and war makers. But anyway, the General Stab was a school of leaders. Basically, they had all guys there learning about war, learning about how to make war decisions, how to employ troops and things like that. And the General Stab was allegedly famous for forming leaders, for teaching leadership. That's what they were known for. But unfortunately, that's what not exactly happened. And it was one of the major flaws of the General Stab. The guys who progressed were not the ones that were more capable, were not the ones that were more talented, but mostly, if you pardon me using that term, it were the suck-ups. The guys who would suck up to the leaders were unfortunately the ones that were being chosen to be generals, which ultimately proved to be a big problem because you guys all know what happened during the first 40 years of the past century, right? 2 big wars, a lot of bad stuff happened. And mostly because in 2 instances, 2 generals were suck-ups and they wouldn't stand up against their bad leaders' choices. And this is a trap, okay? It's easier to suck up than to actually learn what it takes to be a real leader. It's easier to flee from problems than to actually prioritize them and go towards problems face on. It's easier to avoid starting a family than to actually learning how to effectively balance family life, professional life, and personal development. Yeah, it's hard. But I'm not going to talk about religion here, although I am a very religious person and religion is a very significant part of my life. I have to say that religion is what helps me learn how to be a leader, learn how to prioritize problems and issues, especially in my professional life, and also how to guide a family and to balance it appropriately with the professional life. And I'm a workaholic myself. So principles and rules are intended to provide a thinking man with a frame of reference. And I think you guys are all thinkers here. And I hope you guys are all capable of thinking. And I especially hope you guys don't leave this meeting thinking, oh, what did that guy say? I just hope he had prepared better. So anyway, the general stop failed miserably, but there's another Prussian guy I like a lot, which is called Karl von Clausewitz. And he was a genius. He revolutionized the way to think about war. And if you're asking yourself, why do we have to understand wars? Just think about it. Life is a war. It's a mess, actually. And we often see ourselves fighting more battles than enjoying moments of peace. Anyway, one of the concepts he came up with was the concept of fog of war. And check this cool quote. So all action takes place, so to speak, in a kind of twilight, which, like a fog or moonlight, often tends to make things seem grotesque and larger than they really are. And I'm actually going to use this quote to talk about learning how to learn, which is hard, okay? There is a technical term for that. I mentioned it before, metacognition. And a lot of courses, there's a MOOC about that as well, but don't take it. I did, and I deeply regret wasting 6 weeks of my life doing that. But anyway, along with all these skills I've mentioned, learning how to learn is probably the most important skill there is. And why did I choose the idea of fog of war, the grotesqueness, the complexity of life, to oppose the idea of learning? If we go back to what I just spoke here about how there are a lot of things in the universe, and sometimes it seems that our college professors they all want us to learn all things in the universe. We have to learn everything from HTML to machine learning to PHP. No, not PHP, please. Python, Java, assembly, I don't know, everything. And we have to be good at all of them. Hosts, I just got an alert here of 10 minutes, so I'll try to wrap up. Anyway, so do we really have to learn well all these things? So there's a challenge here between deciding what's really important to learn and how to learn that effectively well. And here's where I make the point that the 100 Days of Code challenge is actually useful, but don't just do 100. You can do more. And it's okay to fail 1 or 2 days, all right? You don't have to be 100% consistent. And it took me 30 years to learn that. Anyway, you'll probably have to choose what to learn first. And the key to choose what to learn is very easy, actually. You just have to choose something you like. And if you don't like coding, drop school and choose something else. Yeah, do it. You can do it. It's possible. Anyway, but learning how to learn, how do we do that? So there is an actual process, and I can make a 3-hour session about that if you guys want afterwards. But I'll try to draw some 3, maybe 4 points that will actually help. First, learn principles and not actions, which means try to understand from the process that you're trying to learn what is behind this process. The word principle has an origin common with beginning. So yeah, try to analyze what you're learning. Oh, okay. All right. So yeah, I just got an extension. Um, so try to bullet points help to get these principles. Um, the other thing is consistency, which is actually a very important principle as well by itself. To be consistent in something, which is pretty much a reason I quoted the 100 Days of Code challenge, is doing something more than just once. And from what I've seen, you guys are good at consistency. So the third point would be starting from easy stuff is better than tackling the hard stuff. So yeah, it's okay to start with simple. It's okay to do COVID-19 trackers when you're learning machine learning, even if everyone around you already did that. Don't get discouraged just because you're doing something easy. It's the pathway of learning. You have to start easy. Otherwise, you can't go to the medium or hard. I'm sorry, guys, for yawning, but it's 8 a.m. and I'm a night person. And as Clausewitz said in this quote here, choosing what to learn. No, he didn't say that, but anyway, we can draw that conclusion. Choosing what to learn between all these huge things that we see around us may seem grotesque and may make things larger than they really are. Just a second. Yeah, I just want to get the link ready, to have the link ready here. This meeting is ending in a few moments. So I'm not dying if I just disappear here, okay? This just means that the meeting is over. Let's take a break then and talk about something else. Cats. Okay, I wanted to talk about cats. Why cats? Cats are a huge part of my life, actually. I've been having cats since I was a kid. And I learn a lot from them. First, because they only do what they want. And that's hilarious, actually. Unlike dogs, which are easy to entertain, cats are a challenge, just like our human brain. It's easy to get bored if you decide to choose what to learn just based on the things you think will make you richer, which allow me to enlighten you. If you think you know all the things that can make a person rich, you are sorely wrong. Okay? One of the richest guys I knew in my life, he sold bread. And he didn't have a college degree. And we would often get together at a place to eat hot dogs and talk about life. And I've learned more lessons from that guy than I have learned from college, from graduate school, from all my jobs added together. That guy knew how to make money. And he learned that because he chose to learn that. Yeah, my cats are trying to leave the room. Just a second. Yeah, you can take a look at this beautiful cat here behind. It will take me just a few seconds to open the door for him. Ain't that awesome about this whole pandemic life? These funny things. Anyway, back to my friend Manuel. He was a guy from Portugal who was a multimillionaire, and he would drive a Beetle. And I mean, you would never guess that that guy had millions. And one of the most important things he taught me, and or at least that he tried to teach me, was about how to choose what to learn. And although he never went through college, the guy could talk about many different topics and subjects, and he knew books, he knew philosophers, he knew artists, he knew about biology more than I did, and I was like proud to be a nerdy student. But why did that guy know so much, even without going to a college? As I said before, it's probably because he liked what he was studying. So, which brings me to another question. How do I ensure that I like what I'm doing? If you're listening to this and thinking that you're not so sure, you like what you have to learn now, probably you have to rethink the path you're on at this moment. Should I make like a countdown before the? It would be cool. Oh no, it just says less than 1 minute. So anyway, yeah, I'll be back at the other meeting room because this is going to close soon. And when we come back, I'll make a quick break and show the DevScript website, and then I'll wrap up what I was talking about. You guys can stare at my cat and at me smiling for a few seconds, I guess. Oh, okay. All right. You guys thought I was going to go away, huh? No. All right. I was going to. Oh no, let me pause for a moment. I'm going to. Where is it? Oh, here. Okay, so let me share something else here. How do I do that? Where is my Zoom screen? Oh, here, meeting controls. Oh, I lost the meeting controls. Okay. So let me pause and make some advertisement. So this presentation is made possible by DevScript community. Let us come together to learn and grow. So this is DevScript website. It's a nice community started by one of my friends. And it's devscript.tech. They conduct webinars, lectures, quizzes, technical debates, and hacks, and a lot of other cool stuff. And the pictures on their website moves. Oh, it's awesome. It bounces. Anyway, you can become a campus representative. You can become a mentor. There are live events. Oh, Ishan Vorha, he's a cool guy. So anyway, check the website. They have sponsors. There's a picture of a winner of Scriptomania. There's a Discord chat with 150 people. There's even a bald guy there. And you can contact with a form and an email, which is awesome. Anyway, DevScript community, take a look at the website, join, and follow the events. And now back to the presentation. Okay, so I was talking about my friend Manuel and Clausewitz and choosing what to learn and doing things you don't like. Don't do that. I'm not saying you only should do things you like, because I would be lying. This is not how life works. But that helps. Understanding what you really like is a key aspect on learning how to learn. I didn't forget what I was going to talk about. I'm just thinking about life in general. There's also a hidden message before that, behind that. It's okay to pause, to think, and to put your ideas together. I hope I'm not boring you guys. I'm not going to talk about machine learning. I'm not going to talk about quantum computing here. I'm just throwing philosophical ideas and trying to convey a little bit of the knowledge that I have acquired through the years. I hope you guys understand how important you are. Yeah, this is the pep talk moment. You guys are sharks in the ocean and not fishes. The technology we have in our hands is the key to changing the world into a better place, but you can never do that if you're a bad person. So don't be a bad person. So don't lie, don't backstab, don't do stupid stuff, because it's not worth it, and it will all come back to you. Let me tell you about a funny story of how the world turns. Here was I, being supervised by this guy who hated me because partly my fault, I know. I was young, I was arrogant, and I thought I knew a lot more than other people. And if you think you're better than your boss, you're better than your coordinator, you're better than your advisor, you're probably arrogant, just like I was. Sorry to tell you that. Anyway, my supervisor at work, he hated me because he had his reasons, but he was kind of mean to me in most situations. But guess what happened? I was promoted and I became his supervisor. And in that very same day I was promoted, he did one of the most horrible things I've ever seen being done to someone. It was done to me. I laugh now, but I was young and I almost cried when he did that. He humiliated me in front of all the team. And in that same day, I was promoted. And in the next day, I had a one-on-one meeting with him. And I sat behind the desk because I always wanted to do that, to sit behind the desk. And there was him, completely embarrassed because he had been a jerk to me for 8 months or so. And now I became his boss. Anyway, the world keeps turning, and if you're a jerk to someone, you may see yourself being in a situation in which you will not be comfortable. I ended up being a jerk to him, and I regret that. I shouldn't have done that. But I was young, I was stupid. I kind of still am stupid, but I'm just older now. I hope when I'm like 80, I learn not to be stupid. But anyway, if you want to change the world, if you want to learn the right stuff, you have to be good. And back to a quote that I have given here. You have to learn the right principles in order to be good. And there is no better way to doing that than to being able to pause and think about what you're doing. To wrap up a little bit about what I just said today is basically two things. I could have said that in 5 minutes. I could have said that in 5 hours. Not personal. Okay, college life, professional life, they are two entirely different things. College is completely unrealistic, and you will end up finding out that most of the things you learn in college are not applicable to real life, but that's okay because we learn how to learn in the process, which brings me to my second topic today. If you want to succeed, if you want to be different than that 1.5 million engineers that are graduating each year beside you in India, you have to learn how to learn the right things. And if you want to choose right, you have to become a better person. Otherwise, you won't be able to choose properly. Because in order to exercise your, what is the word in English? Your agency, your ability to choose, you need an adequate knowledge of what's true and what's not, of what's right and what's wrong. Anyway, so if you want to find me, if you want to talk more about life, this is a little bit of linking. So you can find me on Twitter, you can find me on GitHub, although you can't send personal messages on GitHub. Yeah, why did I put that there? Anyway, email, WhatsApp. But before I go, I also want to talk about another project of ours, which is Tesseract Coding. And Tesseract, as I said before, I am one of the co-founders of Tesseract Coding. Is a community dedicated to promoting knowledge and to providing projects in which people can learn and perfect their skills, and also a group of friends. So reach out to me if you want to learn more, if you want to get more information on how you can be a part of Tesseract Coding. We are actively looking for more members and people who are capable, You guys are all capable, I know. And if you ever need a friend, someone to reach out to, I am the perfect listener. I will pay attention to what you're saying, and I will say stupid stuff as well. I want to thank you guys for this opportunity of speaking here, and I hope I was able to entertain you with some additional ideas and some perspectives that will allow you to make better decisions and choices in the future. What did I just do? Oh, that's cool. I can zoom in. Oh, see? So yeah, if you can't read, oh, this is so cool. How do I unzoom? Oh, yeah, there, I learned. Anyway, that's it. This is my last slide. Thank you for your patience. And Vedant, Kabir, if you guys want to see a few things.
Hello,
Oh,
guys.
okay. I'll stop sharing.
Yeah. Okay. Uh, Sorry for the light. Just it's not that good. Yeah.
Oh,
So
he's
I'm gonna
so
share my screen.
beautiful.
Probably can you just give me the permission to share my screen?
Yeah, I need to make you a host. Oh,
Yeah.
yes, you're now the host.
Awesome. So yeah, I'm gonna share my screen now. Yeah. There we go. So guys, I'm just taking this opportunity, first of all, to thank Ricardo for this amazing session. And with respect to just the feedback that I got in various groups where I had sent this link and the YouTube chat, people are just like, what a great session it is. And I wish to share one interesting thing that I've come up recently. It's uh, it's basically not a startup. It's a place where you can be a freelancer. Why to work on just some projects where you just have to add it to the resume. When you are good at something, never do it for free. So we have here NeoVantium. NeoVantium is for opening door to the freelancing world. So our goals and objectives is to put working on industry grade projects, get stipend for your work, get internship certificate from NeoVantium. And the reason behind we started this initiative is that we learned a lot from freelancing, working on industrial projects, starting from the ideation phase till the final testing, checking out the security issues and all. It's a great experience that I think every developer should have. And having this before actually going for a job, it's something that you will really enjoy. We have our community partners, the coding blocks, the DevScript and Tesseract Coding. And you can register here, put your name, first name, last name, phone number, email ID, about which domain you wish to apply for, because we have projects on all domains, whether be it web, Android, iOS, blockchain, and cloud. Put your GitHub profile, link here, LinkedIn here, accept the terms and conditions, which you will get soon, and just submit it. You can mail us at neomantium@gmail.com, and here you can follow all our socials here. So okay, so thanks again, Kabir, and thanks Ricardo for the session. I'll stop sharing my screen now. Yeah.